We are in New Mexico. It was supposed to be just another night, but an alien spacecraft landed in a wooded region overlooking a huge suburban neighborhood. Apparently, the creatures on board are here to observe and take samples of our planet. One of them breaks away from the group and admires the city at night. Suddenly, machines are heard in the vicinity, and the little alien hides in the grass while his friends return to the ship and fly away. The men investigate the area but find no trace of the ship. Frightened, the little alien flees with the men on its heels. It eventually finds its way down an embankment in a suburban residential neighborhood. In the next scene, we meet the film's protagonist, a little boy named Elliot, who is having fun with his friends. Elliot leaves the house to pick up the pizza they ordered, and as he returns to the house, he hears a strange noise in the yard. Elliot follows the noise to a garden shed in the yard. The young boy throws a baseball inside the shed and is surprised when the ball is thrown back out by something in the shed. Elliot rushes, frightened inside, to tell everyone what he saw. The others mock him, but they go out to check anyway. They find nothing in the shed except some unusual footprints that, according to Elliot's brother Michael, must be from a nearby coyote, so the mother, Mary, tells the children to go back to the house. Later that evening, Elliot goes outside after hearing some commotion in the yard. He takes a lantern and scores the cornfield and comes across a strange creature. Both of them, frightened by each other, start screaming. The creature flees the yard and enters the woods through a nearby gate, while Elliot looks at all the mess it has made. The next day, Elliot rides his bicycle into the woods with a bag of Reese's Bits in hopes of finding the creature he saw. He throws the treats left and right, but with no success. At one point, he sees a man searching the area and realizes that he too is looking for the alien. So Elliot hastily leaves the woods. That night, Elliot tells his family about the alien he saw, but no one believes him, and he begins to get annoyed. Elliot claims that his father would believe him, so he spoils everyone's dinner. His mother has recently gone through a difficult divorce and now has to raise 3 children alone. Michael fiercely scolds his brother for his harshness by pointing out that he does not care about others. Later that evening, Elliot stays outside under a blanket. Suddenly, the creature approaches him, and Elliot mutters something. The little alien returns to him some of the pieces of Reese's he found in the forest. Then Elliot lures the little stranger inside his room. When he finally sees the monster in its entirety, he notices that it is a peculiar brown humanoid, unlike anything he has ever seen before. The creature is gentle and seems to be interested in Elliot. Meanwhile, in the woods, a group of men continues to investigate the area and find pieces of Reese's. The next day, Elliot pretends to have a fever so he can stay home from school. As soon as the others leave the house, Elliot brings the little alien out of the closet. Elliot begins to introduce him to how things work on planet Earth. He gets acquainted with the creature and calls it E.T. Then the boy tries to give it something to eat, but it makes a mess in the kitchen. Later, Michael arrives, and Elliot wants to introduce him to E.T. initially. Michael thinks it's just another goof, but he is speechless when he sees the alien. Shortly afterward, his younger sister, Gertie, joins him and starts screaming as soon as she sees E.T., startling him as well. Michael takes his sister, and they hide in the closet while his mother, Mary, enters the room. Elliot tells her he feels better now, and Mary walks away. The 3 children agree not to reveal E.T.'s existence to anyone. They try to explain their whereabouts using a map of the Earth. Well, that's the first time I've ever seen an American who knows where the United States is on a map. Then they show him the solar system and ask him where he came from. E.T. demonstrates his abilities by floating and rotating many spheres like planets in the solar system. Later that evening, E.T. studies a children's book and, in the process, looks at a vase with wilted flowers and revives it, bringing it back to life. The next day, while everyone is off to school, Elliot has the monster hide in his closet. Elliot's friends tease him, thinking he has an imaginary friend. On the other hand, Elliot says, annoyed that he has found a real alien. While everyone is away, the alien comes out of the closet and starts wandering around the house, even befriending the dog. E.T. ransacks the refrigerator, stealing food and consuming several beers. Unbeknownst to Elliot, the alien has formed a psychic relationship with him, and the boy feels everything E.T. feels. So Elliot gets drunk and acts starry-eyed during class. Then these feelings pervade his science class, where Elliot finds himself releasing a swarm of frogs for a dissection project and wreaking havoc. In addition, E.T. is watching a love movie, and as a result, Elliot is overcome with emotions, which causes him to kiss a blonde girl in his class. At that moment, Mary and Gertie arrive home. Their mother is too busy putting away the groceries and does not notice E.T. walking around the kitchen. Gertie tries to get her attention to introduce her to their new friend, but Mary is too busy. The little girl starts watching a children's television program that teaches different words. E.T. hears her and starts repeating, just like a child. So Gertie teaches him how to pronounce different words. When Elliot comes home that night, he finds out that Gertie has helped the alien speak, and the boy is very excited. E.T. tries to explain that he wants to create a device to connect with his home planets so that they can come and get him. Later, Elliot and Michael search the garage for useful items to build a device with which to contact the aliens. In the process, a van outside picks up their conversation, unbeknownst to the two. Elliot takes the items into the house and accidentally cuts himself with a tool. E.T. lights his finger and heals his wound in a flash. Later, E.T. goes to work on his creation while Elliot and Michael peek at him. On Halloween, Elliot and Michael dress E.T. on a sheet and show it to his mother, who thinks it is her daughter. E.T. sees the fake knife Michael is wearing and believes it is real and tries to treat his wound, but the boy hides the finger from his mother. Gertie has already left on Elliot's bicycle and gone to a place above the suburbs. E.T. looks around and sees a child dressed as Yoda and exchanges him for his alien friend. When the three of them meet their little sister, Gertie switches places with the alien, and both Elliot and E.T. go to assemble and activate the communications machine she has built. As they ride through the forest, Elliot's bike starts hurtling down a steep hill toward a cliff, with E.T. perched in a basket on the handlebars. Elliot panics, fearing he will die, but the bike goes over the cliff without a problem, thanks to the little alien's unknown ability to get the bike off the ground. They fly between above the trees, and Elliot screams excitedly, after which they land safely. E.T. assembles and turns on his rudimentary device, which sends a signal into space. Some time passes, but there is no sign of aliens nearby, and Elliot tells him to go home because it is late. The little boy promises him that they will be friends forever and won't allow anyone to hurt him. Elliot is fatigued and falls asleep while the alien keeps an eye on him. The boy wakes up in the woods the next day with no sign of E.T. while at home. The family doesn't understand where little Elliot has disappeared to. While Mary talks to the agent, Elliot suddenly arrives home. Elliot begs Michael to find E.T. The older brother heads into the forest as a car follows him. He manages to lose the car, after which he ventures into the forest to look for E.T. He finds his building, after which he runs into E.T., who is pale pink and breathing hard. Michael picks up E.T. and takes him home, where the children introduce him to their mother. E.T. has turned pitch white and is barely breathing. Elliot reveals that he and E.T. are psychophysically connected and are not well, and they die. The panicked mother orders them to get away from E.T. and leave the house immediately, but before long, they are ambushed by people wearing spacesuits, followed by government officials who quickly close the house and set up a medical unit to assess and rescue Elliot and E.T. A man informs Elliot that they have discovered the machine in the jungle and would like to know how to rescue E.T. He informs Elliot that he, too, had a childhood interest in aliens and that finding E.T. is a long-time dream come true. Elliot explains to E.T. that he must return home, but as they chat, the alien begins to separate from Elliot and eventually succumbs to the disease, leaving the boy to recover. When the plants that E.T. had resuscitated begin to wither and die, Michael notices and thinks it is over. E.T. is revived by the medical team but eventually dies. Before taking E.T. away, the man gives Elliot some time alone with him. Elliot believes that E.T. is really dead because he no longer feels anything. The boy looks away and tells E.T. that he loves him, but in the process, he notices that the flowers that were previously dying are being reborn. Elliot opens the container where E.T. resides and discovers that he is alive. The alien explains to him that the inhabitants of his planet will return to retrieve him. Elliot hides the news that E.T. is alive and devises a plan with Michael to take him to the forest. Michael asks his friends to ride bikes with Elliot to a nearby hilltop playground. Meanwhile, Michael and Elliot steal a van with E.T.'s container and head to the playground. After meeting Michael's friends, they take the alien and head into the forest. In the process, government agents chase them. As they drive away, they notice a checkpoint in front of them, with armed agents surrounding the cars. E.T. levitates all the boys' bicycles, which fly off into the woods just as they appear to be caught. E.T.'s spaceship arrives as they dock in nightfall. Shortly afterward, Elliot's mother, Gertie, and Michael arrive, saying goodbye to E.T. for the last time. Then Elliot's turn comes, and the alien invites him to come with him, but the boy asks him to stay. E.T. hugs his new friend, then lights his finger and points it at Elliot's head, saying, "I'll be here." Gertie gives E.T. the plant, and he enters the huge spaceship, which quickly soars into the air, leaving behind a rainbow as everyone looks up at the sky.